What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Mayo Media Network. My name's Griffin Swanson, and today I'm going to be breaking down one of those showdown slates for Thanksgiving between the Saints and the Bills. Going to talk a little prize picks with you guys, and then dive into my spreadsheet breaking down that DraftKings Showdown slate. But before we dive into my picks and plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. If you don't know this by now, let me tell you, the Mayo Media Network has football content coming out Monday through Sunday for the remainder of the NFL season, so don't miss out on any of that. And for you podcast people, you can always head over to the Apple Pods or Spotify and find all of the content there. And while you're over there, leave a 5-star review. With that being said, let's dive into this game between the Saints and the Bills, kicking it off with a couple of prize picks. All right, so I'm over on the PrizePicks.com website here now, and for starters, I want to mention this. If you have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, and are perhaps interested in doing so, we got a promo code for you to use, and that's going to be promo code MMN, which stands for Mayo Media Network, and you'll get up to a $100 match deposit upon signing up. And the nice thing about PrizePicks is they match that deposit right away. You don't have to earn it back as a bonus like some of these other DFS sites. Not here. You put $100 in, you'll see that $100 match deposit show up in your account right away. And again, you don't have to put $100 in. You want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they'll match 20. But as long as you're using that promo code, again, MMN, you can get up to a $100 match deposit. Now, another nice thing about PrizePicks is they toss us some freebies every now and then, and they've actually given us one here for this Thanksgiving slate, and it's particular to this game here between the Bills and the Saints. Now, it's not out yet. That's the one caveat, is it doesn't come out until Thursday, midnight Eastern time. So I'm recording this here on Wednesday, but at midnight Eastern time here tonight, you will see a pick show up on the passing yard side of things for Josh Allen. And all he needs to do is throw for 1 yard in this game, and you win the pick. So that's my first pick for you guys. Like I said, it's a freebie. It's over 1 passing yard. It's just insane to think that that's even available for us, but it will be again tonight at midnight Eastern time, so take advantage of that. And considering I am doing a breakdown here for the showdown slate between the Bills and the Saints, it's my responsibility to give you a pick on the Saints side of things. However, there's a lot of injury news out there with the Saints right now, so the only picks we have available on the Saints side are these receiving yard props here, basically for their 3 wide receivers. We got Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, Deontay Harris. So if I were you, I would end up just pairing that Josh Allen over 1 passing yard with probably one of those other games. One I kind of like here is going to be Dalton Schultz over 45.5 receiving yards, assuming that CeeDee Lamb is out in this game. Even if CeeDee does play, I probably still like the over there at 45.5. I also don't mind a rushing yard prop here with David Montgomery, but my preferred one would certainly be Schultz. With that being said, like I said, it is my responsibility here to give you a pick on the Saints side of things. So if I had to pick one, I would take the over here on Traquan Smith. Now, this Bills defense has shut down opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers all year long. But we're talking about 34.5 receiving yards here, and in the 3 games that Trevor Siemian has started, Traquan Smith has been the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver in this Saints offense, hitting 44, 53, and 64 receiving yards in each of his past 3 games. So clearing the over there by 10 yards in all 3 games. And he's seen 4, 7, and 8 targets. So the volume is definitely there as well. Like I said, I'd probably just pair that Josh Allen play with one of these other Thanksgiving plays. But if I had to pick one on the Saints side of things, I'd take Traquan Smith here at over 34.5 receiving yards. So to recap here, again, at midnight Eastern time, Thursday, you'll see a new prop show up on the passing yard side of things for Josh Allen. And all he needs to do is throw for 1 passing yard in this game against the Saints, and you win that pick. Again, I'd probably pair that with someone like Dalton Schultz or David Montgomery, or another pick from one of those other 2 games. But if I had to pick one on the Saints side of things, like I said, I'd go Traquan Smith over 34.5 receiving yards. Let me just show you the way that we can approach this here. I'm going to take Emmanuel Sanders quickly, and we'll just go over, and we can approach this 2 different ways. The flex play or the power play. If you go the power play route, you will need all of your picks to hit, but it does increase the payout. So again, stay tuned for that pick coming out at midnight Eastern time for Josh Allen. That's a freebie. Take advantage of it. And again, for those of you who want to sign up for PrizePicks, you can always use the promo code MMN for up to a $100 match deposit. But all right, now it's time to break down this spreadsheet here and go through that DraftKings Showdown slate. For starters, we'll kick it off in the top left-hand corner like we always do with those Vegas odds. You can see the Bills are favored to win here on the road with a money line of minus 235. They're also 6-point favorites in this matchup. And then we got an over-under there of 45.5. Definitely looks like there could be some shootout potential in this game. If the Saints are able to keep pace with the Bills, we certainly could see a lot of points scored in this game. But if not, could be more of a defensive battle, really on both sides, to be honest. And then we have the showdown stats here from 2020. Going to go through these pretty quickly like I always do. 6 different stats here in regards to the top 1% of lineups from last year's showdowns. Number 1, 92% of all showdown lineups rostered at least one quarterback, and of the top 1% of lineups, 96% had a quarterback rostered as well. Number 2, 33% of all the lineups rostered a wide receiver at captain, and of the top 1% of lineups, 31.5% had a wide receiver at captain too. Number 3, 57% of the top 1% of lineups rostered a captain from the team favored to win, so in this example here, the Buffalo Bills. Number 4, run it back, an opposing quarterback, wide receiver, or tight end was included in 88.9% of the winning lineups that rostered a quarterback, wide receiver, or tight end from the other team at captain. Number 5, ignore defense and kickers in the captain spot. Very rarely does that work. Only 1.1% of the time last year in the top 1% of lineups. And number 6, do not play more than 2 kickers or defenses in the same lineup. Usually 1 is fine. With all that said, let's dive into some of my favorite plays here for this DraftKings Showdown slate. We're going to kick it off with the captains like we always do, listing out a captain from both sides of this game. And on the Bills side of things, I like Stefon Diggs here. And look, he likely will be shadowed by Marshawn Lattimore in this matchup on Thursday night, but that really doesn't concern me. Lattimore is a good cornerback, but I'd hesitate to say he's a shutdown cornerback, and Diggs is one of, if not the best route runner in the NFL, still the number 1 pass catcher in this Bills offense, but Lattimore has allowed a 100-plus passer rating to his opponents this year. It's actually 127.3 to be exact. Like I said, I'd hesitate to say that's a shutdown cornerback. Now, this Saints defense certainly does play much better at home than they do on the road, but like I said, Diggs still one of the best route runners in the NFL. He can definitely beat Lattimore, and Diggs is really just starting to heat up here, especially over his past 5 games, where he's racked up 5 touchdowns. Now, Josh Allen has done a very good job of spreading out the ball this year to really all 4 of his pass catchers. You can see the other 3 listed down below there in the flex plays, but Diggs is still the guy, and like I said, I'm not really too scared about this matchup against Lattimore. Now, on the Saints side of things, this one's going to be interesting because Tony Jones has not been the starting running back for the Saints all year long, but sounds like Alvin Kamara has not practiced this week and is going to be out on Thursday night. And then Mark Ingram, he was able to kind of practice in a limited fashion on Monday, but did not practice on Tuesday or Wednesday, battling a knee injury. So it sounds like Ingram is a game time decision. If he does not play, then I do like Tony Jones here, especially at this price tag of $900. And if Ingram does play, I think we can put him in the captain spot as well. Like I said, this defense here for the Bills has been good all year long, but particularly good at shutting down opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers. They have been a little susceptible at times, and I'm talking very little, to opposing running backs. We saw Jonathan Taylor absolutely shred them last week, and so these running back plays here are certainly better if the Saints are playing with a lead, but these Saints running backs have been involved in the passing game all year long as well, so even if they are playing from behind, I'm not too concerned about the game script. These guys should see a healthy amount of targets as well. So like I said, Tony Jones is only in play if Ingram is out, but if Ingram plays, I don't mind him in the captain spot either on the Saints side of things. Now, hopping on down here to the flex plays, I got both quarterbacks listed at the top, and both are absolutely in play here on Thursday night. We got Josh Allen, who's actually projecting to be the best overall play here in this Thursday night matchup. He's got the best median projection above anyone else, but he's also the most expensive. So while he's certainly viable in the captain spot, it's going to be tough to kind of fill out the rest of your lineup if you end up going that route. Now, this New Orleans defense, like I said, much better at home than they are on the road, but they are allowing 21.0 DraftKings points per game to opposing quarterbacks this year, 7th most in the NFL, and with that rushing upside that Josh Allen has, he's damn near in play every single week. Trevor Siemian, certainly don't mind him either, but again, this Bills defense has really shut down opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers all year long. They're allowing just 12.4 DraftKings points per game to opposing quarterbacks. That's ridiculous how good that is. But Siemian has thrown for multiple touchdowns here in all 3 of his starts, scoring 17, 20, and 26 DraftKings points. And again, I always go back to this first statistic from last year. Of the top 1% of lineups, 96% of those lineups had a quarterback rostered, and I can imagine that's going to be the case here on Thursday night as well. Now, the next 3 guys that I got here then are going to be the other 3 starting pass catchers for the Buffalo Bills. We got Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, and Dawson Knox. Now, Diggs is still the number 1 pass catcher in this offense, and if you wanted to, considering this is a showdown, you can sprinkle in their number 5 pass catcher, Gabriel Davis. But Knox, Sanders, and Beasley are going to be on the field quite a bit in this game, and their numbers are all very kind of similar this year. You can see I got that listed off into the right-hand side of the notes, so I'm going to talk about these 3 here simultaneously. For starters, let's go over the target share. So Sanders is at 16.25, Beasley 15.75, and Dawson Knox floating around 14%. Now, Diggs, Knox, Sanders have kind of led in the touchdown department. Diggs has 5, Knox has 5, and Sanders has 4, whereas Cole Beasley only has 1, but he is still getting looks in the red zone. He really just hasn't converted those to touchdowns. So if you're looking for touchdown upside, Diggs and Knox are probably your go-to guys, but Sanders has thrived there as well. And if we're talking about matchups, Beasley probably has the best matchup here against PJ Williams out of the slot, who's allowing a 78% catch rate this year. That's not very good. And Sanders has a decent matchup as well here against Paulson Debo, who ranks 102 out of 118 graded quarterbacks this year per Pro Football Focus. So actually both of those matchups for Sanders and Beasley is very good. The matchup isn't great for Dawson Knox, but the chemistry between Dawson Knox and Josh Allen has definitely grown this year, and so I certainly don't mind him at $8,000. Again, all 3 of these guys are in play, have kind of had, I don't want to say similar roles, but similar numbers this year, and so I don't mind going to any one of these 3 guys here, along with Stephon Diggs, and might sprinkle in some Gabriel Davis as well. And now we're going to move into some of these Saints players, and I kind of hate myself for putting Taysom Hill here. I have a lot of Alvin Kamara in season-long fantasy leagues. In fact, in 3 of my season-long leagues, I have Alvin Kamara. So I'm a bit chapped that he isn't playing here on Thursday night and hasn't played the past couple of weeks. But even more so for me putting in Taysom Hill, who seems to vulture way too many touchdowns from Alvin Kamara. But that's kind of why I like him here on this showdown slate. You know, he certainly could be a guy that finds the end zone not only once, but maybe even multiple times. And not a bad price tag here is $6,000. Now, if Ingram and Kamara are both out, Taysom Hill's an even better play. You know, Tony Jones should absolutely work in as RB number 1, but once they get down towards that red zone, I would not be shocked if Taysom Hill is the guy. He just signed a new contract, I believe, for 4 years. Getting paid way too much in my opinion, but hey, props to the agent of Taysom Hill. You're absolutely killing it. Now, we don't actually know how much Taysom Hill is going to play in this game, but like I said, he's a better play if Ingram and Kamara are out. He absolutely should get work in the rushing game, especially once they do get down towards the red zone. And then wrapping it up here with those 3 starting wide receivers for the New Orleans Saints. Now, it sounds like their tight end, Adam Trautman, is going to be out in this game, so I'm interested to see who the guy is going to be. I think Juwan Johnson will be used once they get into the red zone, and then the other guy, I believe, is Nick Vannett. But it sounds like he's just more of a blocking tight end. He did have 1 target last week for 20 yards and 3 DraftKings points, but I don't know how much he's actually going to play. So I went with the 3 wide receivers here because I do know they're going to be on the field quite a bit. Traquan Smith in particular has been very good with Trevor Siemian, seeing 4, 7, and 8 targets in his past 3 games, and he's run a route on about 97% of his dropbacks, or at least he did last week. Again, this defense here for the Buffalo Bills has been the best in the league at stopping quarterbacks and wide receivers. So that's why I got Tony Jones and or Mark Ingram in the captain spot, is because they just haven't allowed anything to opposing wide receivers. But we have to talk about them, right? We have to talk about somebody on the Saints side of things outside of the running backs. And so these wide receivers do stick out to me. They're also very reasonable in price here at $5,800 for Traquan Smith, $52,000 for Marquez Callaway, and just $2,000 there for Deontay Harris. Now, Callaway and Smith are really the starting 2 wide receivers. Deontay Harris is only playing about 31% of the offensive snaps, but he has seen 4, 5, and 8 targets, while Trevor Siemian has been starting at quarterback, and he's actually rated as the best wide receiver on this Saints team right now. Per PFF, they actually have him ranked as the 2nd overall wide receiver in the NFL. I'm not buying too much into that because he really hasn't played a full season so far, but his numbers certainly do look very good, and he's very cheap there at $2,000. And then kind of hopping back into the spreadsheet here, back up one, Marquez Callaway is more of the deep threat on this team here, and he's actually scored a touchdown in all 3 games with Trevor Siemian starting. So more of a boom or bust play there, but definitely someone who could go for 20 plus DraftKings points, and a guy who can really score a touchdown from anywhere on the field. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on the Mayo Media Network. Like I said, they got football content coming out Monday through Sunday throughout the rest of the NFL season. Make sure you don't miss out on any of that. And again, for those of you who want to sign up for PrizePicks, you can always use the code MMN, which stands for Mayo Media Network, and get up to a $100 match deposit. But let's have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's enjoy this 3-game NFL slate, win a little money as well. I'm out of here.